Hello and welcome to Assay TV. Today we're talking with James Wallbank, who is the managing partner of Ibaera Capital. James is based in Perth. Good to see you, James, today. Tell us a little bit about the company.
Ibaera Capital, I should say good afternoon, Leo, to start off with. Ibaera Capital is a US private equity fund. We invest exclusively in mining projects, and we are really about funding mining projects through to construction. Particularly, we invest into what we call future-facing metals projects, which are predominantly the base metals projects and gold. But we're providing significant amounts of capital to help companies actually get into construction and get their projects funded and away and into operation.
So what have you invested into so far? You had a 2017 fund, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. A 2017 fund is now full. It invested into 2 gold projects, one in West Africa and one in Europe. The project in West Africa, we've spent about $40 million now on that asset. The project in Europe is a similar gold project, much larger. In total, that's had 30 million spent to date, and we are putting in another 16.5. So significant investments for non-producing gold projects in the development phase.
But now looking forward, you're looking into what you call future-facing metals. Which metals does that include?
So future-facing metals is a term that we've coined to really focus on those metals that we believe have a long and sustained demand in a decarbonized future world economy. So we've included, so that's predominantly the base metals elements, cobalt, copper, nickel, zinc. But we also include gold into that, because obviously gold has a significant role as a finance substitute in the future economy as well. So that is really our area of focus. And from our point of view, we need to specialize. We can't propose to cover every commodity. So they are the ones that we focus on.
Absolutely. And you have a new fund, the 2020 vintage fund. What sort of size are you looking for that fund to be?
That is a $250 million fund. Typically, we're investing, as I said, we can invest as little as $10 million up to $80 million per investment. And that's typically enough money to fund projects through and into construction. And at that point, we think companies are able to get other funding sources such as debt and other equity to fund construction. So we're funding in those sort of chunks, and we think we will get 3 to 5 to 6 deals into that next fund.
Fantastic. And what's your typical sort of exit from these projects? Is it a trade sale, or how are you exiting?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we are not and we don't profess or try to be a mining company. We think the best mining companies are the mining companies or the incumbent owners of those projects. So we're really a facilitator of getting companies from exploration and development through and into construction and then through to operation. So we are really exiting during the construction phase. We're happy to be a majority owner prior to construction if that's what it needs to be. We're of course happy to be a minority owner, but really during construction and certainly into operation, we're looking to reduce our involvement in the project to allow other mining companies, incumbent owners, other equity participants that want to be invested into operating assets to take our place.
So you're sort of providing filling a funding gap there in the development stage.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've all heard of the Lassonde curve and how the market loses interest in projects as they approach construction, as the challenge for companies moves from exploring and discovery through to actually getting ready to build. That has always historically been a challenge for companies, and that's basically the role that we fill. It's the hurdle that many junior mining companies face, and that's the hurdle that we help them get over and in construction. And we think, for good economic mining projects, once you're funded and into construction, then companies should realize the full value of their underlying opportunities. So we're very keen to provide assistance in achieving that.
Is there any particular criteria you look for when you're considering an investment?
The main criteria is, of course, that the underlying asset is, fundamentally economically attractive and constructible. And so we're looking for projects where the economics make complete sense, where the risk is reasonable and able to be appropriately managed. And so effectively what we're looking for is our investment is focused upon providing a guarantee that those projects are going to get into construction and get start producing and start generating cash flows. And so ultimately we're really focused on, is there clear visibility of pathway to an economic operating mine?
Fantastic. And the track record of the management team at the mining company, how important is that to you?
Certainly from our point of view, we are able to bring funding, but we're also able to bring technical support. So with any company, we're happy to, we're quite an active investor, so we will actively help that company bring in whatever additional personnel and resourcing it needs to get to a successful outcome. So it's always important that the management team within the companies that we invest are focused on and have an intent to realize an operating asset. But after that, we can work collaboratively with them to bring whatever we need to the table to make sure they're able to achieve that at the end of the day.
Fantastic. And do you have any sort of geographical preferences?
Yeah, we do. We're entirely focused on those geographies where miners want to mine. So we are much more around the traditional established mining provinces, and then we will look out and look into some of the what you might say emerging provinces, and Serbia is one example where we have a large asset where there is actually quite a lot of mining going on, and some very large companies there looking to develop projects such as Rio Tinto. But it's still probably considered, I would think, by the global market as an emerging province. Whereas Ghana, with our other project, is very much an established province. They're the geographies that we're looking for, as opposed to those that are perhaps a little bit more off the beaten path.
Fantastic. And how have your companies fared during this pandemic situation?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we've been fortunate that we had a lot of people on the ground at both projects, and that both projects have not been detrimentally affected by COVID more than, the communities in which they operate. So that's been quite fortunate. So we've been able to, we've invested a lot of time into things like Zoom and Microsoft Teams, and we communicate regularly with them. And we probably have more communication now with our site teams than we ever did before, simply because of the much more of the investment and comfort that people have with using tools like this.
I mean, it seems to be a theme with the conversations I've been having recently. The mining companies seem to have been amazingly successful at navigating this difficult situation. Looking forward to the rest of the year and into 2021, what are your sort of immediate next plans?
So certainly from our point of view, there is, the 2020 fund is now away and has money in the bank and is looking to make its first investment. That's certainly a target for us prior to Christmas to conclude at least one new deal. There are 3 deals that we're looking at right at the moment, which are in the range of around $30 to $50 million each. 2 in base metals, one in gold, surprisingly enough. We're keen to start investing and start helping companies get projects on the way to construction.
So James, are you able to run through a specific example where you've invested in a project and helped it towards its development?
Sure, Leo. Let me think. Let's talk about a Serbian asset, because that is probably the one that would be least known to people. So our Rogozna project in Serbia, it's had $30 million spent to date US, and we're spending another $16.5 million. We are funding, so we've set up a UK company that holds that asset. We provide 100% of the funding into that company. Now we'll fund that company through until certainly completion of PFS in 2022, without them having to secure funding from any other investors. Although there is always the opportunity for companies to source money from other investors if the price is right for them. And at the moment we are drilling. We're drilling right now, 3 rigs on site. The current non-JORC resource for the project is 8.3 million ounces of gold. The 1.5, 1.6 strip ratio, nice large gold project. We have funded and put people into Serbia to run that project alongside the people that are already there in Serbia managing that project. So for those guys in Serbia, our funding provides all the money that they need to develop to an outcome. It takes the funding hurdle off the table for them. But as I said, it still provides opportunity for companies to go and secure more funding if they choose to. We're never in a situation where we need to be the exclusive funder. We'll just provide the funding that they need. The project, because you're able to secure a large chunk of money, you're able to have clear development plans and run programs efficiently, mobilize the right number of rigs, establish long-term employment contracts for people. There's no requirement to, have more money in place from listed markets or whatever it may be in 6 to 12 months, because the funding source is there. So that's a really nice example of a gold project that we're currently funding in Serbia.
Fantastic. 8 million ounces, that's a sizable project there. And what sort of grades are you talking about? You're getting in your drilling?
It's copper gold skarn. It's a 1 gram equivalent ore body from close to surface. So it's certainly something that we would expect to be producing in the 400 to 500,000 ounces per annum.
And of course, Serbia, there have been quite big deals recently in recent years with Nevsun and Zijin. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it said, Freeport's been there, Rio Tinto's there. It is I guess you'd say that Central Eastern Europe province is an emerging district that has caught the attention of some of the largest mining companies around the world of late. So it's a nice place. It's a really lovely place to be and to operate. And hopefully we get to get on a plane and get over there again soon.
Fantastic. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best method?
So we operate from sunny Richardson Street in West Perth. That's where our technical office is. Our website www.ibaera.com, IBAERA. And we're always happy to share a coffee with explorers and developers and mining companies that are interested in securing funding for their project.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your insights there and overview of your relatively new company. Great speaking to you today, and good luck for 2021.
Thanks, Leo. Appreciate it. Good to see you, as always.